Before we get started with today's episode, I want to let you know about our current Design Her Travel newsletter. It is where we share all of the behind the scenes of the episode, my own personal stories, and travel tips that can help you travel longer for less or create the life of your dreams. It really is a place to connect even more deeply with Design Her Travel, and I would love for you to hop on our weekly newsletter. I won't spam you with daily email, but I will send you one beautiful newsletter a week. So if you are interested, then click the link in the show notes and get started now. I will see you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Design Her Travel podcast. I'm your host, Kim Anderson. As an avid traveler, global nomad, and someone who considers themselves a citizen of the world, I want to say welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. My hope in creating this podcast is to inspire you to take the leap of faith and to design the life of your dreams. For me, that includes connecting with like-minded individuals and creating a community of souls living their best lives out, in, and around the world. Each week, you'll hear stories and conversations from fellow travelers who have figured out how to incorporate travel as a key component in their daily lives. Their stories are beautiful and inspiring, just like you. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. So let's do this. Here we go. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to today's episode of the Design Her Travel podcast. I'm your host, Kim Anderson. Today is a travel talk episode that goes with our Below Deck and Real Life Super Yacht series, where we break down everything you need to know to break into the yachting world, to rub elbows with the rich and famous, and to get paid to travel the world. So this episode is for you if you're an aspiring yacht crew or just someone who is trying to figure out a way to get paid to travel the world. This is for you. Today's episode is a must listen because today we are talking about the one certification that can make it all possible. Today we are talking about the STCW 95. This one certificate is your golden ticket to working on yachts around the world. It opens up opportunities to see the world while earning a pretty lucrative paycheck. So whether you want to work on deck or in the interior or even the galley, the STCW is the one non-negotiable requirement, and I'm here to break it all down for you. So get ready, grab a pen and paper, and let's talk about the STCW, who needs it, and how you can get it. So what is the STCW? Let's start with the basics. STCW 95 stands for the Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. It's an international safety certificate that sets the minimum requirements for anyone working on commercial vessels, including private yachts. So whether you want to crew on any sort of commercial vessel, from private yachts to cruise ships to shipping containers, every single professional mariner is required to have this one certificate. You can think of it as a crash course in safety and survival at sea. I found it extremely valuable, and I even had a lot of experience working on boats before I took the course. And I can't imagine working on any vessel for any length of time without having this information. So it really does teach you all about safety and survival at sea. It ensures that anyone working on board knows how to handle emergencies, keep themselves and others safe, and work in line with the maritime laws. Without the certification, you can't legally work on yachts or really any commercial vessel. So who needs the STCW? Well, in short, anyone who wants to work on a commercial vessel or a yacht needs the STCW. So whether you're aiming for the role as a deckhand, a stewardess, engineer, chef, any of those things, you need the STCW. It doesn't matter if you're working on a 40-foot yacht or a 200-foot yacht, the STCW is mandatory. If you're just getting started in yachting, it's typically the first certification you'll need to complete before you even apply for a job. It is mandatory, and people will not look at you if you don't have this certificate already completed before sending in your application. So why do you need it? Well, aside from being a legal requirement, the STCW is a super valuable course. It equips you with the skills that you'll rely on, especially in an emergency while working at sea. It ensures that you understand safety protocols for yourself, the crew, and your guests. Once you've completed the STCW, you will know how to respond in emergencies, such as a fire on board, a medical situation, or if you have to abandon ship. And it teaches you how to handle unique challenges that come with living and working on the water. For yacht owners and captains, hiring crew with the STCW certification means that you're hiring people who at least have a baseline understanding and a competency to handle any situation. It gives you the training you need to know when things don't go as planned. So, what do you learn while getting your STCW certification? The training covers several modules, and they may vary slightly by training center, but the basic foundation are the same. You'll learn personal survival techniques. So you'll learn how to respond in emergencies like abandoning ship. You get to train in life raft, survival equipment, and staying afloat. So you literally get to wear what's called your Gumby suit. You get to practice what it's like to float in the water wearing your survival suit. You learn how to enter a life raft. You learn how to launch a life raft. You learn how to get in a life raft while you're floating at sea. So all of these things, hopefully you will never have to actually put into practical use. But the reality is when you are wearing a very thick suit, rubber, latex suit while floating in the water and trying to maneuver getting into a life raft, it's a good reality check to realize it's not as easy as it looks. You might be in stormy situations, and trying to even get into the life raft can be quite challenging. So for me, it was a big reality check of, whoa, this might not be easy. So I need to make sure I take this seriously. You also learn fire prevention and firefighting. Fires on a vessel are totally different than fires in a house. They are much more dangerous because things can happen quickly and the vessel can go down in flames pretty fast. So you learn how to prevent fires on board and how to use firefighting equipment. You have hands-on practice extinguishing fires, and yes, like real fires. This part of the training is quite challenging. I took my STCW course in Fort Lauderdale, and it is one of the biggest maritime firefighting facilities in the world. And they have a maritime firefighting prevention facility. So you put on a fireman's outfit, you crawl into a burning storage container or shipping container. You're in an enclosed area with other people, and you actually practice putting out a fire. It's pretty intense. I won't lie. There are people who really struggle to handle this part of the training. You have to crawl out in a smoky environment. You really learn as close to reality of what it might be like in a burning vessel. And it is wildly scary. But the training is so valuable because, again, it's a real life experience about what could happen on board. And it really makes you think and take your safety seriously when you're on a vessel. So I think the reality check of doing these things in person is probably the most valuable contribution that the STCW gives for your yachting career. You also learn elementary first aid. So you learn basic medical training, how to handle injuries or illness at sea. You take a CPR course, you get certified in CPR and other life-saving techniques. So again, it's all about emergencies, survival at sea, and how to keep you, your crew, and your guests safe in an emergency. You learn personal safety and social responsibilities. So you learn how to live and work safely on a vessel. Being on a vessel is totally different than being in a house. The vessel becomes your home, but it is a constantly moving vessel. Even in flat sea, it does not stay in one place. So safety is a big issue when working on board a vessel. Your safety is as important as everyone's safety. You're all in it together. And so taking the precautions makes a difference in the day-to-day life on board. You learn teamwork and communication skills for close quarter environments. Communication, as I think we all know at this point in time, is key. So you learn the order, you learn about the chain of command, you learn who you will be under in an emergency. Every position on board has a job in case of an emergency. You learn what these jobs are, you learn about the chain of command, and you learn how to follow rules and do your job in an emergency. Vessels have a chain of command to keep people safe, and you learn these things in the STCW. You also learn security awareness, so you recognize and respond to potential security threats on board. So where can you take the STCW 95? You can take it at any approved maritime training center, and that's the key. It has to be an approved maritime training facility. These schools are located all over the world. They're located in all of the yachting hubs that we've been talking about in this series. So Fort Lauderdale, Antibes, Palma de Mallorca, Sydney, Cape Town, lots of places in the UK. So you just do a quick online search for STCW training near me, and it'll help you find options in your area. The STCW courses are usually taught year-round, so you can find a class and a location that fits your schedule. Some locations even offer intensive courses to kind of fast-track the process, but you'll definitely need your STCW before you step foot on board. It's one of the first things a captain or a recruitment agency will ask for when hiring. If you're going to take your STCW class and are curious how long it takes, the training itself typically takes between 5 and 7 days to complete, depending on the training center. It's a pretty intense week and you'll learn a ton, but you'll leave with everything you need to know to start your yachting career. The certificate itself is valid for 5 years, and at the end of that time, you'll need to take a refresher course to renew it after that. The refresher course ensures that your skills and knowledge are up to date with the current maritime safety standards. But the good news is the refresher course is usually shorter and less expensive. So what is the cost of the STCW? It does vary a little bit, but roughly $1,000, give or take a couple $100. It is an investment, but it is also the first step towards a career that can take you all over the world and get paid to do that. You will earn your money back in your first month of employment on board. So it's really a small entry fee to break into an industry that has so many perks. The STCW might sound like ticking another box, but trust me, it's so much more than that. It really is your gateway to working on private yachts and traveling to incredible places. You get to experience a lifestyle that most people only dream of. Not to mention, you're going to be working on board a moving vessel, and this course itself teaches you what to do in case of an emergency. It really is a very thorough and comprehensive training. I learned so much about all of the safety trainings and all of the things that might happen on board. And like I said, I'd been working on board vessels for years already, and this training gave me the confidence to handle situations that I might not know how to handle otherwise. So if you're serious about joining the yachting world, then this certification is a must. So start researching training centers, book your course, and take the first step. Just do it. If you have questions about the STCW or need help finding a training center, then feel free to hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM. I'm always happy to help. You can find me at Design Her Travel. And if you know someone who is also interested in the yachting world or just curious about working on any sort of vessel, then forward this or share this episode with them. That little act of kindness means a lot and helps more than you know. Until next time, my friends. Thank you so much for showing up and listening to this episode. I know that there are so many things in life that you could be doing right now, And so it means a lot to me that you're here. There are so many more episodes coming your way. So if you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to review and follow us on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you know someone who might like to hear it, please share. Those little acts of kindness mean a lot and help more than you know. I appreciate your time and getting the opportunity to share this moment. I'd love to hear more from you. I'd love to connect, so reach out on social. You can find me on Instagram at Seafaring Wanderer. That's SEAFARINGWANDERER. And then you can join our Facebook group at Design Her Travel Podcast. I would love to connect, hear more from you. Let me know what you'd like to hear more of, places you'd like to hear about, and things you'd like to know how to do when designing your life. So thank you, everyone, and I'll be back soon.